You will watch this video all the way through. You will watch this video all the way through. You will not click off this video. You will not click off this video. This is my review of Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. This review will contain spoilers. You have been officially warned, so if you don't want to know the story or plot elements, don't watch this video. There are plenty of videos on YouTube right now reviewing Episode 7 with no spoilers, but this review will contain spoilers because there's no way I can review this without talking about plot points and things within the film. So first things first, I'm going to start off with giving it a rating, 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10. This movie is incredible, phenomenal, fantastic, excellent, as everything that I've ever wanted a Star Wars movie to be. However, it's not without its flaws, which I'll get into near the end of this video, but I want to focus on just some of the core elements. One of the things I loved about this film overall was how much it made me smile, and I don't say this from a nostalgic standpoint, but just because, okay, I kind of do, never mind. I have never smiled so much during a film in my entire life. Like, I genuinely had not. I had emotions of happiness and sadness, but I found myself laughing even in times of sadness. And movies don't do that for me. Like, I can't, if I'm sad about, there's movies that I'm really happy about seeing, and then you're happy about the movie, then there's really sad movies, but this movie brings in emotions where you feel sad and happy. And when you have both of those emotions in a film and can still make you smile and laugh during those hard parts of a film, that's incredible to me. I cared about the characters a lot. John Bega, I'm just going to call him John Bagel because that's easier to say. Phenomenal actor. He's getting a lot of, I've read a few negative reviews saying that he's like the Jar Jar Binks of fucking Star Wars. If you think that, you're stupid, you're an idiot. It's the facts. Like, no, he's nothing like Jar Jar Binks. I love the character Finn. I love the character who plays Kylo Ren, whatever his name is. I can't think of it at the top of my head. But I was really worried that he didn't seem very menacing to me in the trailers. And they portrayed him like a psychotic, crazy, angered, has an anger problem Darth Vader fanboy, which I already knew that was kind of his, basis of his character. And I already knew ahead of time going in that this was going to be Han Solo's son. I knew that. I already knew, despite people trying to spoil it for me, I already knew Han Solo was going to die. I already knew this a year ago. Like, I already predicted this. Because there was a lot of stuff giving really proper, strong evidence for why that was going to happen. Because Harrison Ford himself said that he wanted to die in, I think it was episode 5 or 6, that they were planning on killing off the Han Solo character, and they didn't, obviously, so the only way they could get Harrison Ford back in this movie was to say, hey, we're probably gonna kill you, so you want your dream to come true? Play in this final film of Star Wars Episode 7. So I already knew that was coming, so there was really no big surprises. Like, I wasn't like, oh my god, I never knew. I can't believe that happened. Like, just didn't happen. But overall, the film was amazing. One of the things I loved about it was the lightsaber battles. The lightsaber battles were raw and authentic, unlike the prequel trilogies or even the newer, the prequels. You know how everything's choreographed flawlessly? You have a 13-minute battle between Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker that's like flawlessly choreographed and everything. And, it was beautiful to look at, fun to watch, but it ultimately didn't bring the emotional adrenaline that the fight scenes, though they're brief and short, in this film throws at you. I felt like I was watching Game of Thrones fighting with their huge, gigantic swords. It felt raw and it felt real. It felt like these people hadn't been really trained. Like, Kylo Ren hadn't really been trained by, an amazing lightsaber artist who knows, martial arts. And then, like, Rey, who uses the lightsaber, she was just kind of like, they were struggling to fight. And that, to me, just felt nothing felt choreographed in terms of the fight, and it felt a lot more real, and it was extremely intense, especially when they're in a forest and the trees are getting cut down. It was mind-boggling to me. It sent chills down my spine. The film's dialogue was, as I mentioned earlier, it made me laugh and it made me smile during sad parts and happy parts. The dialogue's really great in this. It felt so reminiscent of the original trilogy. The dialogue between Han Solo, just the comedy sense. You know, like, it's hard to make me laugh in movies. I'm not someone who laughs at a whole lot. I wish I did, but I just don't. And I was laughing throughout this whole film. I love BB-8. I think I love BB-8 almost more than R2-D2 now. But when I saw R2-D2 on the screen come to life, I was like, dude, I cried so many times during this film. I can't even count. Not of happiness and sadness. Like, it was just really emotional. It was like I was reliving my childhood, replacing those VCR things back in the VCR player and wearing them down to where I couldn't watch them anymore, because I wore the original trilogy down so much on the VCR player that I just couldn't watch it. It was amazing. So my two big negative things about this film have to do with Rey. The one thing I didn't like about Rey, and by the way, acting, I have no complaints on acting, so if you're worried about character actors, they're fine. I didn't like how Rey just became like a fucking Jedi, you know? Like, she literally became a Jedi within the course of an hour. That this kind of bothered me. I understand the concept of the Force and it drawing you to, you know, stuff, but like Luke in the Return of the Jedi and, you know, Empire Strikes Back, he spends 2 full movies, almost 3 full movies, learning the ways of the Force and becoming a powerful Jedi, and Rey within 35 minutes is like, whoop, I can use the Force, I can do mind tricks, I can now fight, I can use the Force, I can do all these crazy things. So that was kind of taken back, like, how does she learn this so fast, okay? Unless she's like Luke Skywalker's daughter somehow, like, how does she just know these things? How does she become such a powerful Jedi so fast and end up fighting Kylo Ren, who's been being trained by Snoke, who we still don't know if that's Darth Plague. I call him Darth Plaguey. But yeah, that's one thing. The other negative thing is I didn't like, the film is so heavily reliant upon the tropes from the original trilogy, which it bothers me because it annoys me that the film relied so heavily on probably the same concept. I felt like I was watching The New Hope over again. Like, the third act of the movie, I felt like I was watching The New Hope. I really did. Just with, like, the trench run, and, like, you have this big super weapon, which Starkiller Base was far cooler than the Death Star, in my personal opinion. Like, the planet just carved out made me think of Halo. It was phenomenal visually, and it was beautiful. But they destroyed it. I kind of wish they didn't destroy Starkiller Base. I wish they had, like, punctured it but didn't blow up the whole thing. Like, now their super weapon's gone. Felt just like The New Hope, you know. Why make such vulnerable places? If you had the Death Star blown up twice already, why would you make a vulnerable place out in the middle of the open to where all you gotta do is just destroy the shield generator and then it has a weak point? Like, come on, Empire, First Order, whatever you are, think a bit harder, you know? Don't do the same mistakes you did in the first film, or even in the Return of the Jedi. Like, it was just annoyed me. I didn't like how reliant upon the first tropes. But other than those two things, I have nothing negative to say about it. I really don't. I'm not coming from this. I'm coming from this from a non-biased perspective. I know I love Star Wars, but I went in expecting a great film, and I came out surpassed with my expectations. I gotta go see it again. I really do. I just didn't like, again, you know, you have the first good pile of shit, which was The New Hope, and then you get regurgitated piles of shit on top of that shit, which still makes it shit, but it's like the second-hand shit, so it's not as good. But that's here nor there. It's not, that's why I rated 9 out of 10. Like, if it didn't use the same tropes from the original trilogy, I would rate it a 10 out of 10. It's not without its flaws, but it's great. Wish Admiral Akbar was in it a little bit more. I was hoping they would have a tribute to him saying it's a trap or something like that. To those of you who caught it, George Lucas was in a scene and he gets hit by the Millennium Falcon. It's really funny. You gotta be really observant though. There's a scene with George Lucas is animated and he like flies across the screen during an air battle and like hits the Millennium Falcon and like gets blown up. Pretty funny shit. J.J. Abrams outdid it himself. Hardly any lens flares, and film is amazing. So please go see it. It's worth it. It's everything I could imagined. The last scene with Luke Skywalker, I was just bawling my eyes out. I was like, oh my god, it's fucking Luke. He looks so menacing. Like, you know, when I saw him, my first thought was, dude, he's so powerful, he's probably on this little island. And my other thought was, where does he poop and where does he eat? But he's on this island because he's so afraid of how powerful he is. So, That's my review. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Didn't like it, don't really care. Thank you for watching this video, and peace to rep out, and may the Force be with you. Go see Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's definitely worth it.